The world does not smell of grass or rain. It smells of sulfur. It smells of the deep, burning earth. In the Miocene badlands of North America, the sky has fallen. A grey curtain of volcanic ash, spewed from a waking giant in the west, descends upon the plains like a shroud. It is not snow. It is heavy, sharp, and relentless. It coats the leaves, it poisons the water, and it silences the wind. This is a kingdom holding its breath, waiting for a dawn that refuses to break. In the center of this grey purgatory stands a citadel of bone. He is a male Synthetoceras, a creature built by evolution to dominate, yet designed by nature to suffer. He is massive, a biological tank of muscle and coarse fur. But your eyes are drawn immediately to the anomaly on his face. It is a weapon of nightmare, a long, forked horn rising from the tip of his nose, shaped like a pristine Y. It is bone white, scarred from 100 battles, and terrifyingly beautiful. But beauty has a weight. Watch him try to graze. It is not a simple act. It is a labor of physics. To reach the short, withered grass, he must lower that magnificent, heavy head. The long, fuse-like neck muscles tremble under the strain. You can hear the low, wet wheeze of his breathing. The ash is everywhere. It is silica, microscopic glass, and every breath he takes shreds the delicate tissue of his lungs. He is the king of this valley, but he is dying. The very crown that defines him is slowly snapping his neck. He rips a mouthful of grass from the earth. He chews, and the sound is grinding, grit against enamel. The ash covers everything. He is eating glass. He pauses, lifting his head with a groan that vibrates through his rib cage. He scans the haze. His eyes are watery, irritated by the dust, but they are sharp. He is looking for something. There, emerging from the grey mist like a ghost, a smaller shape appears. It is a calf. The heir. The young male is fragile, his legs stilts of nervous energy. He trots toward the giant, oblivious to the toxicity of the air. He does not yet carry the burden. His nose is smooth, save for a small, hard nub, a tiny lump of calcium that feels insignificant now. But the king knows. He knows what that nub will become. He knows the weight it will bring. The calf bleats, a high, thin sound that cuts through the muffled silence. He nudges the king's flank, begging for reassurance. The giant lowers his head again, this time not to feed, but to comfort. The massive, lethal Y horn hovers inches from the calf's fragile skull. It is a moment of terrifying contrast, a weapon capable of piercing a car door, now moving with the gentleness of a feather. The king presses his snout against the calf's shoulder. He exhales warm, moist air into the youngster's fur. It is a promise. I am the wall. You are the future. But the moment is shattered. The wind shifts, bringing a denser cloud of ash. The king coughs, a violent, hacking spasm that shakes his entire frame. Pink froth bubbles at the corner of his lips. The titan of ash is tightening its grip. The grass here is dead. The water is sludge. If they stay, the weight of the air will crush them before the predators even arrive. He nudges the calf harder this time. Urgent. Move! The females of the herd are already restless, their ears flicking nervously. The king turns his massive body toward the highlands, toward the memory of clean air. He takes the first heavy step, his hooves sinking into the grey powder. The citadel is moving. The exodus has begun. They walk in a line, a caravan of refugees marching through a nuclear winter. The ash is deeper here, drifting like sand dunes. It swallows sound. The only noise is the rhythmic crunch-drag of the herd moving through the fallout. The king brings up the rear. This is the suicide position. He places himself between the vulnerable calves and the unknown terror of the fog. His pace is slowing. The leverage of the horn on his nose acts like a pendulum, pulling him forward, forcing his neck muscles to fire constantly just to keep his head level. He is burning calories at a rate he cannot replenish. Every hour is a calculation of energy. The landscape changes. The open plains give way to a scattering of dead trees, their skeletal branches reaching up like clawed hands. Visibility drops to near zero, and in this blindness, the shadows begin to detach themselves from the darkness. They are not wolves. They are not cats. They are the engineers of death. Amphicyon, the bear dog. A shape materializes 20 yards to the left. It is a brute, low-slung, muscular, with the heavy paws of a grizzly and the crushing jaw of a wolf. It does not growl. It does not charge. It simply trots. It matches the king's pace perfectly. It looks at him with eyes that are devoid of anger, devoid of hunger. They are eyes of calculation. The creature is running a math equation. Mass minus energy equals meat. The king stops. The herd continues, the calves bleating in confusion. The bear dog stops too. It sits down in the ash, yawning. It is mocking him. It knows the king cannot sprint. It knows the king is carrying an anchor on his face. Then, a second shadow appears on the right. Then a third behind. They are not surrounding him to attack. They are forming a corridor. They are shepherding him. This is the energy drain. They want him to run. They want him to panic. They want him to swing that heavy head until his neck gives out. The king snorts, blasting a cloud of red mist from his nostrils. He knows this game. He turns to face the alpha on his left. The movement is sluggish. The horn swings around like a ship's boom. The alpha simply takes one step back, just out of range. The king has wasted energy for nothing. Suddenly, the tactic changes. A subadult bear dog, eager and reckless, breaks the line. It darts toward the calves, snapping its jaws, a feint designed to trigger panic. The king reacts on instinct. The machine engages. He pivots on his back legs, defying his own exhaustion. The adrenaline floods his system, overriding the pain in his lungs. He is no longer a tired old animal. He is a wrecking ball. He charges. The ground shudders under half a ton of fury. The young bear dog realizes its mistake too late. It tries to scramble back, but the ash offers no traction. The king lowers his head, the Y-horn becoming a pitchfork of solid bone. He catches the predator mid-turn. The impact is sickeningly loud. The sound of ribs snapping is like a dry branch stepping on a landmine. The king tosses his head upward, flinging the 300-pound predator into the air as if it were a rag doll. The dog lands in a heap of grey dust, yelping, broken. The rest of the pack does not flinch. They do not rush in to save their kin. They simply watch. The alpha stands up, its tongue lolling out. It watches the king heaving for breath, watching the blood drip from his nose, watching the way his legs tremble from the exertion of that single strike. They have sacrificed a pawn to take a rook. The king has won the skirmish, but the cost was too high. He turns back to the herd, his chest heaving like a broken bellows. The air is watching him, wide-eyed, seeing the power of the crown. But the king feels only the weight. He pushes them forward. The canyon lies ahead. The trap is set. The herd enters the canyon. It is a geological scar, a narrow throat of red rock where the wind screams, funneled and accelerated by the cliffs. Here, the ash does not just fall, it swirls. It forms blinding vortexes, grey ghosts that dance and vanish, indistinguishable from the predators stalking the perimeter. The king hates this place. His instincts scream for open ground, for the ability to swing his weapon. But the cliffs press in tight. He is a siege engine trapped in a hallway. The Amphicyon pack knows this. They have studied the terrain. They are not merely following, they are herding. They have pushed the Synthetoceras into the kill box. The attack, when it comes, is not a collision of bodies. It is a game of physics. The alpha bear dog, a scarred veteran with calm, yellow eyes, trots boldly into the center of the path, blocking the route forward. The king halts, his hooves skidding on the loose shale. He lowers his head, presenting the citadel. A low rumble builds in his chest, a warning that vibrates through the canyon floor. But the alpha does not move. It holds the king's gaze. It is a distraction. From the periphery, a flanker, leaner, faster, darts out from behind a boulder. It does not aim for the king. It aims for the air. The calf is pressed against the king's rear leg, shivering. The flanker snaps its jaws inches from the calf's face, a calculated brush with death. The king reacts with blind, paternal fury. He pivots, swinging the heavy Y-horn in a violent lateral arc to crush the threat. The motion is too fast, too desperate. The flanker anticipates it. The dog drops low, sliding under the swing. The king's horn hits nothing but empty air. This is the trap! The momentum of the 40-pound bone weapon, swinging at full speed with no impact to absorb the shock, acts like a pendulum. It yanks the king's neck sideways. His vertebrae pop audibly. His heavy shoulders twist, and he stumbles, his front knees buckling under the wasted kinetic energy. He nearly collapses. The pack watches. They do not pounce. They wait for him to right himself. They wait for him to heave his bulk back up. They are counting the seconds. They are counting the calories. Every missed swing costs him a fraction of his life. The king regains his footing, his eyes rolling white with rage and exhaustion. He looks at the heir, who is unhurt but terrified. The calf presses his nose against the king's flank, seeking the safety of the fortress. But the fortress is cracking. The king is panting, his tongue lolling out, thick and purple. The air in the canyon feels solid, suffocating. He is fighting a war against enemies he cannot hit, swinging a hammer that is too heavy to lift. High above, on the rim of the canyon, a shadow eclipses the dim sun. Teratornis, the monster condor. It spreads wings that span 12 feet, gliding on the thermal currents of the volcano. It does not flap. It does not waste energy. It simply circles, patient as time itself. It knows the math. The king is burning hot. The fuel is running low. The canyon deepens. The walls rise higher, shutting out the remaining light, turning the world into a tunnel of twilight. The ash here is thicker, trapped by the rock walls. It hangs in the air like a suspension of glass. The Titan of Ash strikes its hardest blow. It begins with a tickle in the king's throat. A piece of silica grit lodges in the soft tissue of his windpipe. He tries to suppress it, to keep moving, but the irritation is biological, undeniable. He stops. His body convulses. He coughs, a jagged, tearing sound that echoes off the canyon walls. It is a full-body spasm. His head drops. His eyes squeeze shut. For 10 seconds, he is blind. For 10 seconds, he cannot breathe. The Alpha sees the opening. This is not a feint. This is the tax collection. The bear dog launches itself. It does not go for the throat. That is too risky. It goes for the hamstring. It bites deep into the king's rear flank, its jaws clamping down with bone-crushing force. The pain is electric. The king roars, a strangled, gurgling sound mixed with the cough. He tries to kick, but his strength is sapped by the lack of oxygen. He tries to turn, to bring the horn to bear. But the ash in his lungs feels like wet cement. He is drowning on dry land. The pack swarms. They nip at his heels, at his stomach. They are bleeding him. The flesh tax creates a trail of bright crimson on the grey ash. The smell of blood drives the herd ahead into a panic. The females and calves scramble up the rocky scree, fleeing the chaos. The heir hesitates, looking back, calling for his father. The king hears the bleat. It cuts through the haze of pain. He cannot die here, not while the boy is watching. He summons the last reserves of his adrenal gland. He plants his front feet. He stops trying to chase the dogs. He becomes the statue. He lowers his head until the tips of the Y-horns scrape the ground, creating a wall of bone. When the next dog lunges, he does not swing. He thrusts. A short, brutal uppercut. The horn catches the attacker in the shoulder, lifting it off the ground and slamming it against the canyon wall. The dog yelps and scrambles away. The king stands his ground, blood streaming from his flank, foam dripping from his mouth. He is a ruin, but he is still standing. The pack recedes into the shadows. They are not defeated. They are merely resetting the board. They have drawn first blood. They have compromised the engine. The Alpha licks the blood from its muzzle, watching. The king wheezes, forcing air past the constriction in his throat. He looks up the path. The herd is gone. The air is gone. He is alone in the grey dark. He has bought them time, but he has spent his own survival to do it. He takes a step, dragging the injured leg. The trail of blood he leaves behind is a map for the Reaper. The king emerges from the canyon alone. Ahead lies the river crossing, the gateway to the highlands. The water is low, a sluggish ribbon of grey sludge, choked by the volcanic fallout. But the banks are treacherous, a mire of silt, ash, and water. A trap designed by geology. He sees them on the far bank. The females, the air. They have crossed safely. The calf stands at the edge of the tree line, a small silhouette against the darkening sky. Looking back, waiting. The king's heart hammers against his ribs. He just has to cross. He steps into the mud. It is cold and cloying. It sucks at his hooves with a wet schluck sound. He pushes forward, the water rising to his knees. The ash in the air is blinding now, whipped up by a sudden gust of wind. It coats his eyes, stings his nose. Then the spasm hits. The cold air triggers his damaged lungs. A coughing fit, more violent than before, seizes him. His body doubles over. His head, that heavy, magnificent, cursed head, jerks downward violently. The weight of the Y-horn, 40 pounds of solid bone, acts as a gravity anchor. It pulls his center of mass too far forward. His front legs buckle. He stumbles. His hooves plunge deep into a pocket of soft sediment. He tries to jerk back, but the suction is absolute. The mud holds him. He pulls, his muscles straining, veins bulging in his neck, but he is too weak. The loss of blood, the lack of oxygen, the sheer exhaustion, it all collapses on him at once. He sinks lower. The water laps at his chest. He is trapped. Behind him, a low growl vibrates through the air. The Amphicyon pack has arrived. They emerge from the mist like nightmares taking form. The Alpha leads, no longer cautious. The calculation is finished. The prey is immobilized. The energy equation has reached zero. The king stops struggling against the mud. He knows he cannot free himself. He feels the cold water seeping into his fur. He lifts his head one last time. It takes everything he has. He turns to face the bank he came from, to face the executioners. He does not cower. He lowers the crown. He plants the tips of his horns into the mud, creating a barricade of bone between his vulnerable neck and the enemy. He is no longer an animal. He is a fortification. The Alpha charges. Silence returns to the river valley. The struggle is over. The king's body lies half submerged in the grey silt. He looks like a fallen monument, a statue toppled by time. The ash continues to fall, slowly burying him, turning him into part of the landscape. The Teratornis descends from the sky, its massive wings casting a shadow over the fallen titan. It lands on the king's shoulder, claiming its due. The cycle of energy continues. The king is dead. Long live the ecosystem. The camera drifts across the river, away from the carnage. Up the slope to the safety of the highlands. The air is clearer here. The wind is fresh. The herd is grazing. They have found scrub brush that is still green, untouched by the worst of the ash. They are survivors. Apart from the group, standing on a ridge overlooking the Valley of Death, is the heir. He is still. He watches the grey mist below, where his father vanished. He does not understand the mechanics of the sacrifice, but he feels the absence. The wind ruffles his fur. He turns his head, catching the light of the setting sun. The camera moves in closer, closer, until the frame is filled only with his face. We focus on his nose. There, rising from the bone, is the nub, the beginning. It is small now, harmless, just a bump of calcium. But in the golden light, we see the shape of things to come. It will grow. It will split. It will become a fork. It will become a weapon. It will make him a king. And one day, it will become an anchor that drags him down into the dark. The air snorts, clearing the last of the ash from his nostrils. He turns away from the valley and trots after the herd. He carries the crown now. The tragedy of evolution marches on.